Good morning, sports fans, and welcome to another episode of Choose Life. I'm here this morning at the beautiful Spire Private Hospital in Cardiff, where I've undergone surgery yesterday to have a lot of veins removed from my leg, quite a major vein and a lot of smaller capillaries and varicose veins. Now, the subject of today's video is going to be about using medication, sedatives, painkillers, and in my case, anaesthetic in recovery. There are chapters in the literature in a lot of the fellowships around medication in recovery, and I think there's some kind of generic guidance in there, but a lot of it, in my opinion, comes down to personal choice and personal belief and self-honesty, really. What are your motives for taking it? Are they genuinely because you need to have them for the pain, for the procedure, or the condition, or the illness or ailment, or the medical procedure that you're having done, or you're having them, with a little underlying secret amount of excitement that you can get away with having a mood or mind altering substance under the pretense that you need it for medical reasons. So you need to be really honest with yourself. Those of you that know, I'm not practicing complete abstinence in my recovery. My main drugs of choice were heroin and crack cocaine, which I haven't used for well over a decade now, but I do use alcohol on a very low level. Sorry, I keep getting noises at the door. I'm expecting someone to walk in four times. I've been disturbed this morning trying to do this video, so forget third time lucky, let's go for fifth time lucky. So hopefully I'll manage to wrap up what I'm trying to say before we get disturbed again. But anyway, long story short, when I was completely abstinent, so yeah, as I was saying, I have a little drink, it's under control. I don't drink to escape, I don't drink to change the way I feel or to cope with stress or anything like that. Many a time I've been offered an alcoholic drink and I'll opt for a cup of tea or coffee instead, or a juice or water or nothing at all. In other words, what I'm saying is I can take it or leave it. Now, I'm not promoting or encouraging or advocating for anyone to drink if they don't feel comfortable, or that's for them, or indeed that, if you want to remain completely abstinent, I get it. I was completely abstinent. I even gave up cigarettes cold turkey, with no patches, no vape, no chewing gum, etc. Without any sort of other intervention at all, as well as alcohol, and all drugs. Complete teetotal, living like a monk, really, for over 5 years. I won't go into why I started to have a little drink here and there, or have a cigarette, but there were triggers. I'm pleased to say I've given up smoking again since then, but I still enjoy a drink, and I drink a very, very low amount, very infrequently, and it doesn't cause me any trouble or problems or consequences. Anyway, back to the topic of this video. So I had a back injury when I was completely abstinent, wasn't drinking or smoking or taking any kind of substance. Had a back injury from a mountain bike accident, which was an aggravation of an older injury from a motocross accident, and also I played rugby for over a decade at quite a high level, in the front row of the scrum, so I had a lot of spinal damage and sort of weakness in my back from that. Prior to my mountain biking accident, I also had a motocross accident at 19, and again chipped 3 vertebrae in my back, so really ongoing dull pain in my back. It got to a point where I'd aggravated it in this mountain bike accident. It's a very low speed accident, slipped on a bit of black ice at 3 or 4 miles an hour, going up a hill in Wales with my friend Chris. And I just fell funny and landed on my hip, knocked a disc out, slipped a disc. And yeah, since then I've had like this low dull back pain. That was around 2012 that happened, 2011, 2012. And I went to the doctor, I spoke to my sponsor, and I tried paracetamol, ibuprofen, all the non-opiate based painkillers, and I was only 18 months clean or so then, so I was still very wary and dubious and actually quite anxious at the thought of having an opiate-based painkiller such as just cocodamol or codeine, which were the kind of things that were being discussed with my doctor. So anyway, I told the doctor that I was in recovery from opiate addiction, spoke to my sponsor. There wasn't that underlying desire, I can have some codeine because I've got a bad back. I absolutely didn't want it. I was at a point in my life and my recovery where I was done with using. I didn't want to dabble, I didn't want to try anything, I didn't want to risk anything. Even when I tried a slice of cake that I realised had brandy in it the Christmas before, I absolutely panicked, ran upstairs and spat the cake out and flushed it down the toilet. So you might think that's a little bit extreme, but that's how kind of adamant I was that I didn't want to jeopardise or risk my recovery at all. I'd absolutely had enough of using, so I was a little bit anxious and wary. However, after discussing it at length with my doctor, sorry about that, 6th time unlucky, but we'll just go with it. So yeah, spoke to my sponsor, spoke to the doctor, pure motive, so obviously only taking it because I'd absolutely tried everything else weaker that was available to me for the pain, and that didn't work. So in the end, they said, so long as you're taking the right amount as prescribed, you're not exceeding the prescribed dose or indeed taking it prematurely. So for example, I was allowed like 2 tablets every 6 hours or something, so as long as I wasn't taking 3 tablets every 4 hours, or just trying to be given an inch and take a mile, and I was having it for the right reasons. And actually when the pain wasn't significant or bad enough to warrant taking opiate-based medication, I would revert back to paracetamol and ibuprofen. Also found weight loss. If anyone suffers with bad back, whenever I've lost even a small amount of weight, pressure on your spine is alleviated somewhat. So losing even just a little bit, but also if you lose a significant amount of weight, I've noticed massive improvements with back pain. So just a little tip for you there, if you do suffer with back pain and maybe you are a little bit overweight, just try and get your weight down. That will help massively without medication. And then finally, just going under today for my surgery. So I've had to be put to sleep under general anaesthetic, and I forget the name of it. Is it profanol or profanol? I think propofol. I've been advised it's propofol, so I did a little bit of research on this. I've just forgotten the name, but I don't think it's actually an opiate-based drug, so I don't think it's opiate-based. However, it is a very strong general anaesthetic that does knock you out, so the effects, whether it is or it isn't, don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't believe it is opiate-based. However, it's very, very similar to morphine or heroin, obviously the things I've used to have a problem with. So, but I wasn't, again, I'm over a decade clean now. I've got no desire to use whatsoever. I've had very intrusive surgery, so I've had like a 4-inch slit on my groin. I've had a slit on the back of my left knee, and they've literally cut one of the veins, not the deep vein, but one of the major veins in my femoral junction. Cut it off and tied that vein to get rid of the leaky valve, or to close off that leaky valve, and removed the excess vein all the way down the length of my inner thigh. So obviously I needed to be put out for that. And I feel great today. I don't feel any cravings. I don't feel like I've used. I don't feel hungover or on a come down or any kind of withdrawal symptoms. And my point being this really, so many people, when I was working in drug counselling and just attending meetings a lot more in recovery circles, was the amount of people that used to use having a medical procedure like this or taking a painkiller, whether it was deliberate or inadvertently, that was opiate based, or even things like, diazepam or some other kind of sedative or benzodiazepine, using that as an excuse, as a relapse, like, I had a diazepam and it set my addiction off all over again. Well, I don't want to ridicule other people's personal experience, because obviously I'm not them and I can't speak categorically on their behalf. However, ask yourselves, if that is you, if that's something you've done or experienced, are you being really honest with yourself? Are you being true to yourself? Is that just an excuse for you to use? Have you used that as an excuse because you really wanted to use and you haven't really had enough? Or, did that medication or drug that you took, either knowingly or unbeknowingly, trigger off your addiction inadvertently again? I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on this, know what you think, know what your experiences are. So please, let's have a conversation and a debate about it. Leave a comment in the comment section below, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. And guys, I will catch you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Bye.